Did you know that 2 out of every 3 CFO hires don't work out? Are you the CEO of a business-to-business company and you're thinking about hiring a CFO? And that could be a fractional CFO, a full-time CFO, or a CFO just for a specific project. Well, if you are, you should watch this video because there's 3 things that you will learn that are very valuable for someone in your situation. The first is that there are different types of value added by different types of CFO. And I bet if you stop and think about it, you'll understand this, but I'm going to break it down for you. And that's going to be important because it's going to lead to the next piece, which is what question should you ask a potential CFO to really understand what type of CFO they are, which of course leads to the third piece, and why you really want to know is what's the best type of CFO for me and how do I find them? So once you know the question to ask, then I'll put it into a framework so you can understand how it all fits together. First thing we're going to do is understand that there's different levels of CFO, different types of CFO. So they have different skills, they have different attitudes, and different price tags. In order to really understand that, let's walk through the different levels so we're clear. As a CEO, I'm sure you understand a lot of what a CFO does, but there might be 1 or 2 things that are interesting here that you hadn't thought of. And further, this will help you understand which type you want, which is really important. So the financials, of course, the CFO needs to make sure the financials are accurate, complete. You've got appropriate budgets, dashboards, all the aspects around that financial reporting, bank communication. The next is risk management. Are you controlling cash? Have you reconciled the bank statements? Have you thought about insurance regulatory requirements? So these are core CFO responsibilities, and they're valuable, and that's fantastic. But as you move up the ladder, we start to think about information systems and putting processes in place. And it's a little bit more big picture and helping the company with more than just the financials. Performance incentives. Do we have the right KPIs and incentives to help develop talent and get people trained? And next is investment analysis. And this is not investing in the stock market. This is about investing in your business. Are you going to invest in a marketing campaign, or would it be better to invest in new equipment, or perhaps real estate, or even hiring new people? And what's the return on investment for those various alternatives, and helping you think through that? So that's a very valuable skill that a CFO can bring. Next is fundraising, mergers and acquisitions, doing the projections and making sure you've got the capital structure to put that in place. So this is definitely that strategic level. And the next is capital efficiency. Now, 30 years ago, capital was very expensive, interest rates were high, and people spent a lot of time on this. There's a whole separate analysis that goes into KPIs that have built-in capital, cost of capital, the financials with cost of capital, incentives with built-in capital efficiency measures. And so that's very powerful, but it's been a lost art for the last 20 or so years because interest rates have been so low. Interest rates of the last couple of years have definitely jumped up, and I expect them to continue going up for a while. The next is transaction level tactics. This is really using the technology, the information technology available to look at not just by customer level, but get transaction level data from your accounting system, of course, but also from your sales systems, from your management operations systems, from your payroll and HR systems. Bring them all together into a relational database type structure so you can slice and dice and start looking at the true profitability all the way to the bottom line, not just by customer, but by customer by product, or customer by service, or down to the employee level, and really get some tactics on how to improve your profitability. And that can be very significant increases in profitability. I've definitely seen profitability increase 20, 30, 50% in some cases. And then finally, strategic planning. A really good CFO from the strategic point of view might be able to help you move from a highly competitive, price-sensitive environment to another environment where you're not competing based on price, but on the value you provide to your customers. And so that's kind of the high-level strategic planning, but there's also even the more day-to-day strategic planning where your CFO is helping you think through how to present to clients, to acquisition targets, to positioning your business for sale. So all sorts of possibilities there. CFOs split into three major categories based on this hierarchy. The basic level, they're providing information. Information is definitely valuable for your company. It helps you make better decisions as a CEO. The next level, that more broad, advanced level, they're able to take over some duties that as a CEO you might have to spend time on. And by freeing you up, you can spend more time on higher value added things, maybe bringing in that big customer that you've been thinking about going after, or more strategic time for you to think on your strategies. And at the strategic level, the CFO becomes a bit more of a partner in the sense that is providing strategic ideas and opportunities for you to take advantage of as a CEO. So it depends, what level person you're talking about. And not every CFO wants to do all three of these or is really a good fit to do all three of these. And the price point goes up as you move, from information to time savings to strategic, as does the value presented. So which one is right for you? Let's think about this a little bit. If you're in a steady growth, or maybe not growing very much, but you're in a very steady situation, you're profitable, you really don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to take a lot of risks, you're happy with your business, you're probably going to be very happy with a basic CFO. On the other hand, if you're going through a rapid growth, turnaround, and you're thinking about an exit, very different situation. So you may want to think about what you're looking at differently. So let's walk through these a little bit. So if you've got a steady situation, risk averse, that basic CFO probably going to be a great fit for you. Example of that would be this company happened to be involved in coffee. They really down deep wanted a basic CFO. They didn't really know that they hadn't thought through. Are there other types of CFO? Don't they all just do that basic stuff? And what they just so happened to hire a strategic CFO, got an introduction, just seemed like the right thing to do. But the CEO was getting these ideas from the CFO, and it just frustrated him. He's like, why aren't you just doing what I tell you to do? I tell you to do things, I want you to do them. I don't want you running off doing this other stuff. And they very quickly got into conflict. 6 months or so, they split up. It really was unfortunate, not a good investment for that company. They would have been much better off hiring a basic CFO. The next is a situation where you're growing. Maybe you're not doing that, hockey stick type of growth, but you're growing quick, reasonably. You're open to change. You want to take advantage of opportunities. That broader CFO might be a good fit. They're providing more than the basic CFO, but they're not going to be super expensive like a strategic CFO might be. Situation that was involved with this CEO, they were growing and they knew they needed a CFO that could handle certain projects, implement some new systems, some processes. And so they hired somebody who was a very strategic CFO, could handle all the things they needed, but they did the projects, and then the CFO kept bringing up, hey, I've done this detailed analysis, and I see these great opportunities to improve profits. And the CEO was like not wanting to hear it. Can't you just go back to getting the books for me. I'm going to handle that stuff. And there really ended up being a clash, a lot of friction, and the CFO left. And again, at this point, the company went out and got a basic CFO. So they probably would have been better off having a project CFO for the certain things they needed and just a basic CFO for the regular monthly type of work. And the next is the rapid growth situation where you might be growing, you might be looking at buying or selling, mergers and acquisitions, either buying a business, selling your business, is preparing for an exit. This is where that strategic CFO can really move the needle for you, can help increase your earnings and positioning and all sorts of things to prepare you for that exit, help you manage rapid growth, avoid some big challenges that could come up. And so a particular situation that I've seen here was a company, they were growing very quickly. They knew they needed a strong CFO, but because they were growing very quickly, money was tight. They had to pay for the materials and the people well before they collected the money. So the faster they grew, the less cash they had available. And so they said, we've got to hire a less expensive CFO. And they did that. Unfortunately, that CFO was not bringing the ideas on how to project cash needs either in the next few weeks or the next couple of years, was not bringing new ideas on how to improve margins, was not watching the margins at the product level, and was not able to see the opportunities. And so the company grew very quickly for a period, but then got into some trouble, and actually it declined by revenues declined by 80%. So it was a really unfortunate situation. So knowing when you need to spend the money and get that strategic CFO is also very important. So those are the three situations. Now the question that comes up is, what do I ask somebody? How do I know what I'm getting? So the question that you might want to ask of the CFO candidates would be, what do you see as the highest value add that you would bring to this company? And if they're telling you, hey, I can give you these great dashboards and I make sure, that the bank recs are handled and we can talk to the bank about, with good financials, that's your basic CFO. That's fantastic. If they're telling you, hey, we're going to help put these incentive systems in place, we're going to do these ROI calculations, well, maybe you're looking at more of a broader CFO. And if the CFO replies that, I've got these strategic ideas and this capital allocation, mergers and acquisitions, you're definitely looking at that strategic CFO. And so you need to look at this from not just the cost point of view, but also what you need. So I hope that's a useful way to think about these different pieces of what the CFO puzzle brings to your company. If you enjoy this, I'm Carl Meyer, and I'm with Abunden, and check out my LinkedIn and our YouTube channel for more videos, and let me know if you've got an idea for a video that you'd like to see.